Secret of Mana. Wait. Secret of Mana on the SNES Classic. I guess I should go back to where I was. Let's go back to where I was. I made a suspend point right here. So, the game was on rails pretty much from this point. It's, you know how the game starts, right? If you remember this game, it starts out with some unskippable cutscenes, and you pull a sword from the stone, and now you're a hero of legend or something. You know how it is. Okay, press the Y button to go to the Saturn ring event of inventory. There's no traditional inventory setup here. It's just you use this Saturn ring to go to look at your inventory as is. You press up and down the D-pad to go to the different layers of your inventory. That's my sword, which is already equipped. Piece of candy. That's for healing. I can also go through all my options here for armor. I'm sure all of you user interface gurus are screaming and pulling out your hair at this nonsense. Because basically anything you want to access has to be selected on this ring. You can't just go on a grid, which would be more user-friendly, to be honest with you. It's more efficient, too. So, they got this stupid Saturn ring of inventory management, which isn't great, but anyway. Equip armor. I'm wearing overalls as good as it gets, so I'm just going to leave. Whoops. Let me put that back on. Sorry. Press the B button to put that back on. Okay, press the Y button to go back. Let's see. More other options here. Targeting. That's if I'm juggling different characters. We'll see that a bit later. Status. Stats. We'll get to that later. Not terribly important yet. Y. Let's see. Weapon magic level. We're going to fix this eventually. Yeah, we'll let the game introduce that mechanic to us as we go along. Okay, so let's stick with the basics for now. Which reminds me, I'm supposed to be able to remap buttons, right? Here we go. Let's see. So those are my options now. Y for my icons, X for the allies icons. We don't have any allies yet. A button for dash. You can switch that around. We're not going to do that yet. A button. Hold down the A button to dash. Of course, you can't change directions while you're dashing. On the bottom of the screen, you can see my HP meter, 50 out of 50. There is also a percentage symbol that goes up on a cooldown, which means that if you perform an action, you'll have to wait till your meter reaches 100% before you can perform that same action at full strength. Without complicating things, if you dash, as soon as you let off the dash button, that meter has to go up to 100% before you can dash again. See, like this? Can't dash yet. If I swing my sword, I can't dash until I'm at 100%. Kind of makes the combat a bit clumsier than it should be, but this is an action RPG really, so some of this stuff isn't too unexpected. Slash. It's a full strength slash. When your meter reaches 100% again, you can slash again at full strength. If you hammer on the button like this, every subsequent slash will be weaker, and you'll see me go into some combat a bit later. That will make that a lot more clear. Let me see if I can lure one of these enemies out. Here he goes. Okay. Just a second. See? See how much weaker that attack is? In fact, I'm just gonna hammer on this button. See, look at that. That's how pitiful these my attacks are, because I'm not charging them up. I'm just spamming this attack button. So you have to wait a while. Now I'm at 100%. Whoops. Took a hit there. Okay, so I'm not going to do much damage yet. See? That was a full strength attack. So you can see how I can manipulate this a little bit. I can basically stun lock enemies like this. Wait for the meter to go full and then just kill them. Like that. So let's stun lock this enemy, see how this works. No, I can't do that. He's already too weak. I can manipulate that a bit more. Just give me a second. Whoop, here we go. See? Let's spam on this. See, he's completely stun locked. That'll give me a chance to charge up my attack. Or maybe it won't. Let's stun lock this a bit more. See, that wasn't much. Alright, so no reason to complicate things. Just don't spam on the attack button and you'll be fine. Though it's not nearly as bad as Legend of Mana, which I'll complain about a bit later, because that game you could basically stun like every enemy in the game and not take any damage, period. So that was some garbage. So anyway. Why? No, wait. Weapon magic level. There it is. Rusty swords. My rusty sword went up a level. There we go. Press the B button. Press it again. So I'm up one level. Yay. I forgot what that does. I think that means I can charge up my weapon for a second. Yep, I can charge it up. Okay, so now I'm at 100%. Watch what happens. I'm going to hold down the B button. I'm going to let it charge like this. I'm moving more slowly now. But eventually, as soon as an enemy walks into my path, I'll let him have it. Assuming there's another enemy here. Okay, I gotta recharge it again. Boom! There it is. Slightly stronger attack than what I was using before. That's a regular... Wow, that was a critical hit. So you'll be able to see as I go through this combat how much stronger my regular attacks are compared to my charged up attacks. Whoops, I shouldn't be... These are cheap hits. I should not be taking them. I'm spending too much time explaining and not enough time playing optimally, but anyway. This game isn't terribly complicated at this point. What I think I need to figure out here is, since we're at the very beginning of the game, what is the pace of optimal combat? Because at this point of the game, the combat in this game is not terribly complicated. If you want to play optimally, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort, really. This isn't like Zelda, where it's like, you know, you can just whack on the attack button. You know, there's a bit more of an emphasis on cooldown management and timing compared to the Zelda game. So it's fair. So it's a fair comparison in that sense. So it's more of an action RPG than Zelda is because, you know, cooldowns and stats matter more than they do in the Zelda games, which are basically just all about, you know, puzzle solving and doing basic combat. There's not much loot here, but I won't be able to show you any of that till later. So when did I want to say I rented this game on launch. You know, I feel it was like an action. The power made a bit of a hay about it. Combat was menu-driven. Well, this game probably had a bit more potential than your average Japanese RPG did because the combat this isn't like Chrono Trigger, which, you know, is a menu-based battle system too. It's real-time exploration. This game is all real-time, but again, there's a lot of cooldowns involved here. I personally don't think it holds up all that well as far as you know, gameplay goes, because as you can see, the pace of the combat's actually kind of sloppy, and this whole I don't know if you would call it a staccato rhythm, but the idea that the combat is real time, but ultimately is based on your ability to not spam the attack button seems kind of weird for an action RPG. It was almost like a bizarre concession they made. Yeah, we can't do a game that's all action, so we kind of want to have some RPG elements in it. We want to make it so that the combat's not too easy, but I think they kind of... Back in the day, this was considered an innovation of a sort, because it wasn't a straight top-down action game like a lot of games were back then, like Zelda. But because they decided to do this weird little cooldown-based system, it made the combat even weirder. Okay, who am I supposed to talk to here? I'll splice in the music with this commentary a bit later, so let's see. You won't be able to hear while I'm talking, at least, but I'll be able to bring it in later. Story in this game is okay. I remember as a kid liking it more, but I'm not sure how well it holds up. And unfortunately, these cutscenes are completely unskippable, so I'll just ignore most of the story if I can. I told you it's not that kind of channel. The only thing that matters is that I found the sword in the stone, and I'm now the king. Well, technically I'm not the king. super multi-tap to get two first boss. So I don't have any magic spells. Watch how the monster moves for attacking, huh? What? I'm unconscious. How do I not get unconscious? That! Not unconscious anymore. I'm gonna need that candy. Let me charge this. What? Am I supposed to die here? That's the part I haven't figured out. Because I didn't get a chance to save this, by the way. I can't dodge that. So I'm supposed to die, I guess. Yeah, I'm supposed to die here. Okay, so basically anytime I die, he'll help me back up. So that's good. So I'll be alright. Ow! Let me get behind him. Hey, what? See, I can't dodge that. Ow! Technically menu-based, I suppose. Get up, darn you. Ow! Because he'll just help me back up since I die, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. What? See, I can't dodge that. See, he'll just... I don't remember this part. I don't remember all the dying. See, now he's dead. Die no matter what. Oh well. And I got an orb that does what? I don't remember what the orb does. This part of the game's on rails anyway. I don't have a lot of choices. I want to say the game's entirely linear. I don't think there are any meaningful choices to be made anytime in this game. Not live. You know, there's not a lot of diversity in terms of your options. Just, here's the one thing you have to do, and you can't make progress till you get past that thing. You know, it's very linear in that sense. But this SNES Classic has several RPGs that are much better than this. Mainly a Super Mario RPG, which, although, to be honest, Super Mario RPG has its own problems. I should probably... Where do I save? Can I save here? Probably go to the inn. Old school. Gotta go to the inn to save. I have to pay money for this, though, right? Yeah, that's fine. No. So I don't want to... I'm already healed, so I don't need to spend the night, but I do want to save. Press the attack button to save. Whoop. I don't want to stay, but I do want to save. Let me make sure it's saved. Yes. Okay, I'm already here. In Podos. 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 Anyway. What else? Oh yeah, obviously this unit is not compatible with the Super Multi-Tap, so you can't play 3 players. You can only play 2 players. In the original cartridge, obviously, if you had a 4-way adapter or a 4-way co-op adapter, you can have 2 friends play along. Of course, you can't do it here because you haven't found them yet. So, you technically don't get the couch co-op until you unlock the other 2 characters. I need to stay here, so... So now what? wander around, figure out what to do, where to go. I can go back here and level up, I guess. Oh yeah, I should probably mention. Yeah, this song, along with the rest of the soundtrack, is done by Mr. Hiroyuki Kikuta, I believe his name is, who worked on the other games in this series. What is it? Seiken Densetsu. I believe the original game was brought over as Final Fantasy Adventure, whoops, on the Game Boy. A black and white top-down action game that I never got a chance to play. The sequel, this is apparently the sequel, Seiken Densetsu 2. There we go. And the sequel to that game, Seiken Densetsu number 3, was never brought over to the States. And I'm kind of disappointed at it. I don't think it ever got released on the Game Boy Advance either. I'll double check that. There we go. But Hiroyuki Kikuta also did the soundtrack to one of my favorite PlayStation 1 soundtracks of all time, Tsukaiji. What is it? Tsukaiji. S-O-U-K-A-I-G-I. The music is it's a Red Book soundtrack. So if you have the disc, you actually rip it. The soundtrack rips right off the disc. That's actually one of my favorite soundtracks of the PS1 era. Unfortunately, the game was never released here in North America, so discs are kind of hard to find. But even though it's a Japanese CD-ROM, you can play the audio in your car. If you skip the first track, as usual. Remember, a lot of old CD-ROM games had red music. You put it in your CD player. That was certainly true of like Saturn games like Virtua Fighter and such. And Tsukaiji is one of those games. You can't really do that anymore because, games these days, they stream their audio assets. In other words, they stream it as part of the data. They don't stream it as, its own separate audio tracks like in the old days. Because in the old days, there might be like one track with game data, and then the rest of the CD's, memory will be used up by audio tracks, specifically the music. That was certainly true of the Wanderers from Ys series, so if you remember that on the TurboGrafx. Pause this over here. So I'll go back to town as soon as I do a little quick practice. Because I can practice some more when my other allies show up. Weapon and magic level. So I'm not going up in experience now? Yeah. When I have 2 energy orbs. Oh well. Let me check my stats once I clear out these enemies. Okay. Stats. Experience, so 41 experience, 6 to the next level. Okay, so let's see how much I get from this Rabite. Angry Rabbit. So I haven't gone up an experience level yet. So I got 1 experience for these stupid Rabbites. Okay, fine. So I'll take out 5 more of these things and go up a level, why not? And I'm not going to charge up my sword because my charged up sword only does 50% more damage, and it takes too long, so I'll just... I get a higher DPS just letting my meter go up to 100. Wasting a bunch of time trying to charge it up to a higher level doesn't seem to be worth it. So I'll just do this. I mean, if you want to, eventually you can charge up each weapon to level 8, I believe. Which means you're basically sitting around for like 30 seconds waiting for your meter to charge up to level 8 in between fights. Like in between mobs, and that's just a waste of time. And you'll be able to see that a bit later. I just went up another experience level. So I'm level 3 now. And of course, when my experience goes up, I get all my HP back. That's fantastic. And you're cutting grass like Link in Zelda 3. And yes, I will be playing Zelda 3 eventually, but, I'm just don't be bothered anymore. I'll play all the games eventually. But for now, I'm going through the ones I have played before and don't require a bunch of explanation. And the last few games that I'll play will probably wind up being stuff like, Star Fox 2 and Kirby's Dream Course. All the games that are a lot more complicated, but... it might be worth playing, but, the mechanics are kind of hard to explain, so... I want to play them for a bit longer before I start recording them. But I will research them to see how it goes. In fact, I did do a bit of offline research for Star Fox 2 before recording this, so I'll be able to talk about that a bit later. Kirby's Dream Course looks like it's going to be a trip. It looks incredibly complicated. There's going to be a lot of futzing around with that game, because the mechanics there seem to be kind of bizarre. It's like zany golf on crack. It's a puzzle game, only it's based around Kirby and golf. A funky kind of golf. So like I said, it sounds like zany golf. But it's not the kind of game that's easy to pick up and play. It's going to take me at least half an hour to get the hang of it. It's a good thing that game came with a demo mode that explains all the mechanics, because there's no manual included. And imagine trying to play a game like that without a manual. This game's reasonable enough, though. So I can save my game here, now that I'm on level 3, and hopefully I'll be able to make progress eventually. Nope. I got full health. But I do want to save my game. Okay. Let's bail. I'm just curious how to get out of here, because that'll be when I end the video. But I might end up having to cut a bunch of stuff until I get out of here. We better stay inside, huh? I have a sword. Let me kill them. That's why I'm here. Let's see what's going on. Oh, here we go. Unskippable cutscene. Alright. So, the soundtrack, again, Hiroki Kikuta. He did Sokaiji. He also did a game that I never got, that I played a tiny bit of back like about 2 decades ago, and I barely remember, called Koudelka. What is it? Koudelka? Koudelka. Koudelka? Apparently that's like a horror that's like a horror RPG. Which didn't sound very interesting, but it was the soundtrack he did after Sokaiji. I don't know if it's particularly good, but the music's okay, I guess. But after Sokaiji was apparently, I mean, I guess you can call that his masterpiece, because that game, you know, it had the big, expensive Red Book soundtrack, you know, lots of violins and you know, lots of violins and electric guitars. It was kind of amazing. But he never really got a soundtrack that was worthy of Sokaiji after that, and it's kind of unfortunate. Maybe there was another soundtrack that I missed that was pretty good, but Kikuta never really. I don't know if he got a bunch of work after that. Maybe he got some work doing anime or something. Cause a lot of game composers sometimes make the transition to anime soundtracks. Yoko Kanno, for instance, before she did, you know, Cowboy Bebop and them, she ended up doing Uncharted Waters and I think a couple of other games for Koei before they became Koei Tecmo. So, you know, people can make the transition. You know, Hitoshi Sakamoto ended up doing some music for Romeo x Juliet, and I think he did a couple of other series. And Motoi Sakuraba, of course, did the Star Ocean series, the anime series, in addition to the Star Ocean video games, which, by the way, I ended up buying with some store credit recently. Star Ocean, is it The Last Hope? I believe it's Star Ocean 4. Yeah, I think it's Star Ocean 4. Because Till the End of Time is Star Ocean 3. So I'm trying to remember all the subtitles. And I'm only selling you stuff because the Elder ordered it. All they want to do is dance. I can sell my candy. And my overalls. If I can go naked if I want. If I want a challenge, I guess. Nope. I'm aware of that, thank you. Old school equipping mechanics, too. So can I leave? Let's say no. Okay. I can rewind if I'm not done doing everything I need to do, just in case. I'll create a save point. So is this like a Princess Mononoke? You get banished from the village at the start of the game? Whoops. Now let's back up a bit. Let's see. Rewind. Yeah, to here. Whoops. Let's go back. Alright. I still want to rewind here, though. Just a second. Hold on. So that 5 minutes of rewind. It's pretty good, actually. Pause. Alright. So this will be my new suspend point. Whoops. Back that up. Yep. Out. Lock it down.